Okay, welcome everyone to the live Lead Generation World podcast. That sort of popped up on me. I didn't think there was going to be a time limit on that little video there, but so you caught us sort of looking around aimlessly. So welcome everyone to the show. I hope you're having a great day so far. We are streaming live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. For those of you who are joining, thank you very much for joining in. A couple things before we get started. You can comment. So your comments that you may make on the LinkedIn page or on the YouTube page, we will see. So feel free to jump in, say, give people kudos, ask questions, whatever it may be. We'll see all those comments. So we love it when people participate. It makes it a little bit more exciting on our end as well. So also, let me think. Anything else? I think that's probably about it as far as housekeeping items go. We do have Lead Generation World coming up in 2 months, which I'm pretty excited about. For those that are listening in, I can share that registrations are currently double what they were last year, which is pretty awesome. But I do have to, put a little bit of a grain of salt on that because, things this far out can show one way or another and not necessarily always end up but we're seeing it be a really positive volume of attendees and registrations coming through, and we're super excited. We got so much stuff going on. So enough of that. I want to introduce Gayla Huber with me from IntegraShield. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things today around females in the industry, LinkUnite, all about you, all kinds of stuff. But I just want to welcome you to the social. Welcome to the Lead Generation World live show.
Thanks for having me, and I promise not to leave you hanging. I feel like every single time I talk to you, you ask me questions and I have no responses.
What?
We're not going to do that today.
I don't think so. You've always got an answer for something. And by the way, congratulations, right? Your Chiefs won last night?
They did. I'm exhausted today. I blurred a little so you wouldn't see the bags as much. But yeah, it was a late night at the game, a little rainy too. But yeah, loving the Chiefs right now. Although we did not play great, but we did win.
I was going to say it was close. I kind of thought towards the end there might be a chance there was going to be an upset. But
I know that would have been terrible to lose to the Buccaneers of all people. And then Patrick got hurt. So we right in front of us at the 10-yard line, and that was really we were a little bit scared about that. So
that's right. You were actually at the game. Okay, yeah. So was it raining a lot? I mean,
it rained at the beginning. It definitely ruined our tailgating. Rained at the beginning, and then it rained towards the end, and the field got so slick. You could see. I mean, they were all struggling. But it was kind of a bad deal when Patrick got hurt.
What's the because you have to fill me in. I'm a San Diegan. We don't get a ton of rain, nor do we have a football team here anymore. But what's like the prep? You know it's gonna rain. You're gonna be cold. Like, are you layered up? Do you have like a rain like tarp type thing, or how are you prepping for this rainy, cold night?
Well, we are definitely tailgaters, so everyone has a tent usually if you're going to do it in the rain. But then just rain gear or like a raincoat. Like I just wore a raincoat last night, and then I took one of those plastic ponchos.
Yeah.
When it was really heavy, I put that on. But yeah, no, it was easy. And the way the stadium is, there can definitely be cold wind in there, but a lot of times the wind is blocked depending on where you're sitting. So the side I sit on, a lot of the wind gets blocked. So it's actually it wasn't cold or anything. I didn't even have a coat on.
Okay, cool. It looks a lot colder than maybe it is, because I'm looking at it like, I don't know. All these people are so dedicated. They're out there with the rain and the cold and all that sort of stuff. And, I was impressed. But all right, cool. Well, congratulations on that one. I also noticed something that we may have something in common. There's a little bit of an overlap. You went to, you graduated from a Nazarene college. Mid-American. I also graduated from Point Loma Nazarene College here in San Diego. Okay. So we have a little bit of a tie-in. And so you're born and raised Kansas City, Is that right? Or
Born Chattanooga,
Chattanooga?
so
Okay.
the accent a little bit, but the Kansas City most of the time. So like majority of my life, Kansas City. But yeah, and Nazarene College was easy for me just because I went to a private Christian school growing up. Um, and so just it was easier for me to transition into more of a private college than it was like a public college. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So one thing I found interesting was you were working at DST Systems. I don't know what that is necessarily, but you're
it's
corporate
it's
marketing there for 11 years.
Yeah, it's been sold. So think of like share owner processing, like if you have your 401ks and all that good stuff. DST was back in the day when I was there, we were large enough that we handled 65% of the world's share owner processing. We
Wow.
had like 11,000 employees and all over the world. It was a really, really like good start to my career. I got to like do sales with like Merrill Lynch and a bunch like Oppenheimer, really, really great companies. Um, yeah, so got a
Yeah.
little taste of compliance there too.
Okay. Yeah. I saw there's some overlap though. It looked like you got the job before you graduated. Is that accurate or did
Yeah,
I?
well, it was like really close to when I
Okay.
graduated. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
right away.
So what was that like? I mean, so you're coming out of college with a business degree and you're getting into the marketing side of things. Was that sort of your passion, marketing?
No,
Or is
I
that
hate
something you just
marketing.
go into? Okay.
I tell people I hate marketing. I love marketing when it's the real marketing, like creative marketing. But in the world we live in, marketing has turned into something else that I don't always enjoy. So compliance for me, I'm kind of enjoying that side of it right now. Um, I get to be more innovative. I feel like there's so many like I do you remember like early in the days, like in digital marketing, because one of my first things in digital marketing was when we created banner ads for cell phones, like back in the day at the top and the bottom. And when we created that technology, I mean, that was so innovative and that was so fun. Whereas in, I got into the agency side and yeah, like at the beginning, like I was innovating, I was thinking of new things, it was before like all the texting platforms were out there. And so you were trying to figure out how to do everything. And that was really fun. But then it kind of got to where you're just like, tracking your cost per lead and cost per conversion. And it got to me like a little stale. So then when 2010 rolled around and I got to do this and start building Integra Shield over at the agency side, this was a lot of fun. And it never ends because whether you want to call them bad guys, scammers, whatever, like it never ends. They're always trying to hide from us. Like Ashley and I were on a call right before this, trying to figure out this new way people are hiding from us. And so, yeah, I love the innovation side of marketing.
Yeah, I do want to get into that because that is pretty exciting. But I don't want to like just gloss over sort of your experience over at DST and then Sprint as far as, because we're here to talk about the first lady of LinkUnite, which you are, and what that means. And we're going to get into that in a second. So I want to, with that in context, I do kind of want to get your point of view on coming out of college and going through that and talking to companies like Merrill Lynch and all these big companies from a young female perspective and what that was like. And did you have a mentor there? Like, how was that first experience, to be honest with you, in sort of corporate world for you? Because not to kind of drag on this question, but you've gone from that to multiple leadership positions. You're running companies and you're doing that. So what was that early years like for you that sort of shaped to where you are now?
Yeah, I can't dismiss it, but me personally, I did not enjoy corporate life. I did not really have, until towards the end of my corporate career, I didn't have really a mentor. I remember when I finally found a woman mentor. But again, that was like in the last year or two of being there, and I was there for 12 years. Um, I think corporate life is very hard for everyone, not just women, but corporate life is not necessarily where I don't think you're going to grow personally and professionally as much in corporate as you do in a smaller or startup, even
Mhm.
mid-sized company. I would do that all day long. I love startups. I love mid-sized companies. But The corporate side definitely taught me, sort of like how to run a business, how you do things, making sure you're being accountable for everything to your share owners and different things like that. Um, Definitely taught me how to get in some doors, maybe of some bigger companies that if I had ever just done small startup, I might not have known how to get in some doors. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the people I worked with, but I didn't get my first mentor until I went into that. So the Sprint thing I did, I know Sprint was corporate, but we were not really Sprint. We were a completely different group using the Sprint facility to develop the digital technology. And with inside that group, there were only 45 of us. I definitely had some mentors there. And that was really kind of where that started. And that's what led me then on to the agency life and trying to take a risk. I probably wouldn't have left corporate life.
Well, so what was the change, and what was the maybe what was the person's involvement in your development that got you to that point? Was it somebody that said, "Hey, you can do it," and got you into this position of leadership, or what were what was it?
Yeah, when I was getting my MBA, one of my professors he had a really big impact on me, and convinced me to take the risk of getting out of corporate and trying something different. And so that's what really kind of like got me to take that. And then once you do it one time, you realize, oh, hey, this is not the end of the world, and I know what I'm doing, and I can do this, and I can do other things. Like there's so much security. They make it so that you're so dependent on them in the corporate world that you feel like you can't leave. But as soon as you take that one step out, you realize it's really not the truth.
So what was that step for you
It was going to the mobile media network.
for with Sprint?
Yeah, for Sprint. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and so
um,
yeah, that came what the so you guys were working on mobile ad development,
yeah, that was so much fun. It
2007.
was back when the banner ads were being developed, like the actual platform to like for advertisers to place the ads onto the cell phones and like try to target consumers back then. It wasn't great, but tried to target. So we were working with really fun companies like Maxim Magazine and Mercedes and Pepsi and things like that. And then we finally got it built and developed and then sold it over to Nokia. So
That's really cool. I mean, because I'm trying to think back to 2006, 2007, what kind of phone I had, and I think was BlackBerry done by then? Were we holding BlackBerry?
so we got free phones, as many free phones as we wanted for this. So my favorite phone back then was the Treo.
The
Do you remember
Treo.
that?
Sounds
Treo? And I liked it because it was one of the first phones that was it was a pretty girl blue.
familiar. Okay. Yeah.
Everything else was ugly up till then.
Yeah. Did it have a big screen?
It
Like,
had like the screen at the top. It was like not a flip phone. It was a screen at the
yeah.
top, and then the buttons like a BlackBerry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I remember that. I do
I think
remember
I
that.
still have it. I kept all those phones.
No kidding. That's funny. So, but those
Yeah.
little tiny ads, I do remember, like little banner ads started to pop up when
Hmm.
you were searching, if you were looking at the internet, if your phone could do that, or it was even in mail servers, like email,
Hmm.
I think ESP, I think, right?
Yeah,
Um,
because the ad delivery at that time, they hadn't figured all that out. So the ad
yeah,
delivery was being built at the carrier level. And so then depending on what carrier you were using is what ads you would get.
yeah. So how do you go from mobile? How did you get to, because next up was Greg advertising. So, you know, 2008, education lead generation was pretty or was growing, if not already like peaking. I don't even like you know sort of that timeline better than I do,
I
right?
loved it. It was wild.
Yes.
Anything where you can be innovative or
Yeah.
like I like walking into the office every day, and yeah, and I still come into an office. No one else does, but I do. Um, I like walking into an office every day and having no idea what's going to happen that day. I just absolutely love it, and I don't think I ever like I've definitely like can get mad and things like that, but most things are highly entertaining to me. Like I'm just like, wow, they really thought they could do that.
Yep.
But yeah, so Greg, Greg,
Yeah.
that was really funny. I really was just taking time off and I was like trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life. Think I had been unemployed for like 5 months, just kind of waiting to see what would come up. ran into Greg at just randomly. He happened to be at the Greg advertising offices one day. We ended up talking all day, and he ended up firing someone and hiring me that
Oh
day.
my gosh.
Just, but we had such a good conversation, and I was like, he's as crazy as me. Like, it was really nice. And I was like, okay, I could do this. I could do a small business, that it's, no red tape. I could get away with anything. I could get stuff done, I guess, right?
That's a better way to put it. Get stuff done, not get away with anything.
Yeah, well, you might want to ask him.
That's great. I mean, that talk about stress though. I mean, a lot of us lead gen professionals, even now, whether they're doing ACA or doing insurance or mortgage, or even there's like, some resurgence of education and all this sort of stuff. If you're in the business long enough, you're going to experience turbulence, some type of ups and downs in the market, or some dramatic event, whether that be a vertical specific or industry specific event, mortgage rates going down, or regulations coming, whatever it may be. You're going to experience that. And so around 2000, what, I think 6, 7, mortgage had its issues, and then there's a lot of regulatory pressure, or not pressure, maybe attention being shown towards lead, started to sort of build toward lead gen, and then it really, I think, came to a peak with education, and I think education, if I recall correctly, really got the brunt of all the regulatory issues. Am I wrong in saying that? And you were part of that.
Yeah, mortgage, then higher education, 2010, 2012 period, got really bad. And then Operation Choke Point in subprime lending got really bad after that, like 2015, 2014, 2015 into 2016, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, it never ends. And that's one of the tough things I think about this space is people that are younger or newer, they don't realize that it's not the end of the world when something happens. Also, we're the most creative group of people in the world, so we kind of know how to run things and manage to regulations. Um, but yeah, it's interesting, and I'm still surprised at how many people in this space align themselves very strictly with certain verticals, and they don't expand more. That was one of the first things that I did at IntegraShield because we hadn't done that at Greg Advertising, and we were like almost purely education over there. And so, like, one of the very first things, literally the year I took IntegraShield, was to expand into other industries. And that's, one, I think that's good for business and safe for makes your business safer, more resistant. But also, it really kind of opens you up because if you're in this space, in the lead gen space, affiliates, network marketing, any of those, what happens to one may happen to the other, and everything ties together. You just have to be able to look at the bigger picture of what happens one place that could turn around and impact you. And so for compliance purposes, I think it's actually better for like my customers for us to know all the industries and all the regulators, and not just focus on one thing.
Yeah. So is that were some of those pressures, issues that were taking place then sort of led you guys down that compliance route, and to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, so we were really heavy education focused at Grag. And I just remember, like, before we had any technology, spending my weekends doing compliance because I did not, you know how it is with an agency. Your clients can fire you because they don't like you, but it's more likely your clients might go out of business due to regulations or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're fighting that almost more than you're fighting, like, do my clients like me and am I doing a good job for them? So I was spending weekends doing compliance, and it just didn't make sense to keep doing it manually. So we ended up building it.
Yeah. No, that's great. And so that's the majority of is that the main focus of Integra Shield now, right?
Compliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, web monitoring, omni-channel web monitoring. Ashley
Yeah.
will kill me if I don't pitch my company while I'm on here. Really
Well,
bad about remembering to do that.
I kind of asked you the dumb question because you sort of alluded to when you first started Integra Shield, you were actually doing, it sounded like, some lead gen stuff in different verticals.
Yeah. So, because I had done more of the brand side with the DST, and then I'd done the mobile digital side with Sprint. And then when I went to Grag, they were a full service marketing agency, but it was focused on direct response marketing. So, yeah, I had touched, I felt like a lot of the different sides. The newest side, like since we started Integra Shield, um, now we're in all the kinds, right? So like we have a ton of people that do network marketing, like direct sellers. We've got performance marketers, affiliate marketers, lead generators, and then all the brands that come along with it. Um, all the way up to ones who are just traditional marketing, right? So like some of the bigger like auto brands and different things like that. So yeah, it's been really fun. I love it. I
Yeah.
love the internet and everything it does to people. I'm one of those people, I do not care about my privacy. I will click anything. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah. And it's got to be kind of nice being on the service side versus like the marketing side, that agency side where things are just like, you never know when, like you said, someone's going to fire you or a campaign's going to go down for some reason or whatever it may be. That sort of stress. Now you're really providing a meaningful, not that wasn't a meaningful service, but a service that's maybe not so turbulent.
Yeah, absolutely. We're solving problems,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
find bad things, we fix bad things.
Yeah.
And that is so nice. I love it. I love that I can, and it's led into like all the sort of like education I do with like the congressmen and regulators and all of that. I just absolutely love it because what we do is we work with a lot of high risk, highly targeted businesses that are doing the right thing. And it makes it so easy to go to the Hill and march up there and say, this is what people are doing. They're protecting consumers and they're also protecting their businesses. And like it's sort of an interesting place that I get to live in, that I can be pro all the good things.
Yeah. And I don't think people really realize how much work you do for the industry and for people that aren't even your clients, just for the effort that you put into going on to the Hill, having these conversations on behalf of the industry. I mean, I don't know, I don't know a lot of people, okay, but I don't know anyone, at least in my little lead gen world, that's doing as much work on the Hill and having the conversations than you are. Maybe there are, and so I give those people kudos too. But that you're doing a lot for this industry.
I think there are a lot of people that do a lot of things and don't tell people. Um, the So back in 2016, I don't know if anybody's going to know this name, but Lisa McGreevy, she used to run Online Lenders Alliance.
Yes.
Talk about a mentor. Absolutely love that lady. She was so good to me, taught me so many things. And one of the things that she taught me was how to kind of get around in DC. And then when she left, Michael Day over at Online Lenders Alliance, that man knows more about how to get around DC than anyone I have ever met in my life, and including all the lobbyists that take us over there. And he will give you the best advice on who to talk to, how to talk to them, what procedures to follow. And it just kind of opened up this thing for me where Integra Shield is my business, but my passion, like personally, has definitely been that. And I'm glad those two worlds can like work together. But I love talking to the regulators on behalf of my clients and just businesses where, like, some of the ladies at LinkUnite, a lot of them own businesses and they don't really have a voice, all of them. And a lot of them don't know how to go educate different folks. And so if I can do that for any of them, it's thrilling. I love it. It's one of my favorite things that I do.
Yeah, no, it's really great, and I appreciate everything you do. I mean, I'm excited to hear, developments, and we're not really. This isn't that call to talk about regulatory issues going on, but I'm excited and really appreciative of all the effort that you're doing, along with other individuals in the industry that are really helping people that have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's really great. So let's talk about LinkUnite. You brought up LinkUnite. Tell me, you're obviously a founding member of LinkUnite. Tell me, for those that don't know, what LinkUnite is.
So LinkUnite started off as a women's group for digital marketing women. It has then expanded. So now we're essentially anyone. We've got everything from payment processors to people who are on the tech side, still digital marketing, but really kind of an ecosystem to bring all of these women together that offer each other support, different products, different services, potentially business. Um, and really help them navigate, whether it's internally at their own companies, or a lot of women have started their own companies since they've started LinkUnite. But really, it's an ecosystem to really support women and move women forward. We're really like, one thing that Sarah and Amanda have done so well is work with folks like you to get women on stage, make sure that we're, promoting what all the women know. It's not necessarily just promoting their businesses, but we have some really smart ladies that know a lot of stuff in this group. And so being able to share that in the industry, I think, is really important.
Yeah. So prior to LinkUnite, I mean, so what? Then let me just ask you a dumb question. Why do you think LinkUnite's important to the industry?
Women wouldn't have a place if it wasn't for LinkUnite. I mean, I'm 50. I've been around a while. And there's no women's group that I've ever wanted to join, because a lot of them go, in my opinion, a little too much on the feminist side. We love our men. Like, that's not what our group's about. We are not men haters. We are literally just trying to promote women in the industry, to give them a place to connect and network. And it really does make a difference for the ladies that are in the group. If you think about when you go to a conference, if we go to one of the parties, you walk into a room, let's say 300 people are in there, there's only going to be a handful of ladies. And so that's not the best place for us to network with each other. We really need a group, to do that. And so it's really changed a lot of people. The other thing is, when I go to a conference now, almost everywhere I go, there's a LinkUnite lady. I absolutely love it. I can connect with people before I go, try to make plans, always have a buddy at the show. And for women who are new to the industry, that is huge, because the rest of us did not have that. So having that it's just a huge leg up for all the women that are joining LinkUnite.
Yeah, and conferences, obviously, that's sort of my little world, but like, it's scary. It's got to be, it's scary. I think it's scary for anyone, really, first time to go, especially solo, whatever it is. But for women, I think, to attend and not knowing anybody in that environment, it seems, I don't know. I'm just happy that there's a group that we can work with that can provide opportunities for like first timers or women that are running solo, to connect with other women and females and sort of partner up and just get to know people. But also from a business growth and business development aspect, there's a lot of value in those relationships. But just from a personal relationship standpoint, I think it's really, really awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I can't say enough good things about Sarah and Amanda. And of course, you work with Sarah, so but those two can bring worlds together. I'm just so proud of them and what they've done, and like the expansion efforts that they've done for LinkUnite, to take it overseas, to bring in different groups, not just digital marketing, and really create like an entire group and ecosystem for women to have support.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. So last year they created the first lady of LinkUnite, and you were voted the winner. And
Yeah.
and
And that was so embarrassing. And I voted for someone else.
I get it. I get like those things, being recognized for something like that, can be embarrassing. Even I think my personality would try to disassociate a little bit.
I did on stage. You tried to ask me a question. I'm like, no, not having it today.
Yeah, but I think it's really great. Not only that you won the award and you know deserve it because of everything you're doing within the group, within the industry, within your own business and community. You know, you deserve it, but also the act of recognizing women do things like you that are making a difference in the industry is really important.
Yeah, 100%. We're doing it again in January, and I think last year because it was the first year, um, I don't know like how much, like I don't even know how many, like I'm on the advisory board and I don't think we know the totals of the votes or anything like that that came in. But um, I think we need to get the word out more this year. I want to see like more women in the list that
Yeah.
are like nominated, and I want to see. I'm so excited to know who's going to win this year because there's no clear front runner or anything like that. That's one thing I love about this group of ladies. Like they're all so good. It could be anybody.
Well, tell me about like well, how did it make you feel like being, you know, winning the award, you know?
um, I was sweating. That's how it made me feel.
Of course.
Um, I mean, I was honored, beyond honored. Like, I don't think I deserve it. I don't think I voted for someone else for a reason, and I really was hoping that person would win. And um, also, one of the things that I think so, like, the First Lady of LinkUnite to me can mean different things. I get that people voted for me because I was doing some things, right, that were trying to make the industry better at the time. But I also, when people are voting, should probably also consider that there are women that are in the middle of their careers that don't have the opportunities to maybe do big industry things, but that First Lady of LinkUnite would really give them a platform to start doing that. And it's things that they would like to do and have if they had the opportunity. So I think when people are voting this year, they should consider both. If there's someone who's made a really big difference in your world, I think you should vote for them. And then if there's someone who you know would take this opportunity and run with it and use it to the best of their ability, I think that you should vote for them.
Yeah, I really like that point, you know, because obviously you're a prominent figure in the industry, right? You're doing a lot of things, people know you, but there are X amount of many women that are doing really powerful, meaningful things within their organization, mentoring people, helping them push on, and that aren't, so to speak, in the spotlight. You know what I mean? So I think that's really a really good point. And I put up this link here. I know it's a little long, and we could probably put it in the comments as well. Let me put it in the comments as well. Let me grab that real quick. This is where you can go ahead and nominate somebody. It's not where you can vote, but it's where you can nominate somebody, and putting it in the comments on LinkedIn, or actually I think on all platforms. So it should be there now. And this is where someone can go ahead and nominate a potential winner. And I think what would be important here is that that you take time to write a little bit about that individual and why you think they should get the award, so that the committee can read through these and take an honest evaluation of everybody based on what you said, not just what their status is in the industry. You know, I think it's really cool because, you know, there's so many stories of women you know, doing things within companies that are so powerful and meaningful to those individuals that they touch on a daily basis that we just don't see. And so I think it'd be really cool to see those nominations come through and read through those, and hopefully bring those individuals to light.
Yeah, I hope everyone votes. I don't know, is this the kind of thing where you can vote twice?
I well, right now it's a
Like
nomination.
Illinois, vote,
Right now
vote,
yeah. So
and
right
vote often.
now, right now they're just doing nominations. So, you know, I think, and then the voting process, I believe, will follow that. But yeah, nominations are being until December 15th, I believe. So you got to get them all in before December 15th, and then the winner will be announced at Lead Generation World on the main stage right after our first session of the day. So, really, really cool. So let me ask you, before we sort of wrap up here, while you were talking, I was actually thinking of my 21-year-old daughter. She'll be 22 in January. She's graduating from LSU with a business administration degree as well. And she goes, she's like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't really know. I like this, I like that, but I just don't know. What advice? Because I mean, I don't know if you were in that situation when you graduated, you got a DST and you got that marketing gig. It wasn't really what you liked, as you said. You don't really like. What's your advice, to a woman like her?
Well, many of us don't know what we want to be when we grow up. We still at 50 don't always know what we want to be when we grow up. My best advice would be to show up and do a lot of different things to find what you like. And there's nothing wrong with putting in the hard work on something that you're not sure that you love, just to see if it turns into something else. None of us, I always try to tell my new employees, especially the young ones, that when you start something new, it's miserable. It's always miserable. You don't know what you're doing. You're behind everyone else. It's never going to be what you love, but it could turn into something you love. So just put in the hard work and always show up. That's the biggest lesson I have learned over the last few years, is to always show up.
That's great. I mean, I like it because you also mentioned you sort of found your passion, to be honest with you, later in your career now, right? So now you're in a situation where you really have a personal connection to the work that you do and passion for it. And that didn't just come around. You had to go through all those.
You have to do all the hard things to get there.
Yeah. And I guess that brings up one other thing I would be remiss not to mention, is that LinkUnite also has a mentoring program. How's that? Do you know much about it?
Mentoring, internships. So I would definitely recommend, if there are some young ladies out there that are looking for mentors, to let Sarah, go out, reach out to Sarah and Amanda, let them know that you're looking for a mentor. There are so many ladies in the group that could really help guide you along your path. At least be there to answer questions for you, if nothing else. And honestly, any of the LinkUnite ladies would answer any questions for you anyways, even if you're not in the mentor program. So that's one of the best things about our group. People are constantly Skyping, chatting, texting every day. LinkUnite ladies are talking every single day. So you would have a really good support system.
Yeah, and you guys have a Discord and all that sort of all the different channels, right? For members.
We do. Us old people can't handle all the channels, but the young people I think can. So I would encourage that.
Yeah, it gets a little too much, huh?
Yeah, I currently can't even get into Discord. So
Discords, everything. Yeah. Well, I think it's really, really great, and I'm congratulations on winning this year and being a really great representative of the group and doing all the hard work that you're doing for the industry that a lot of people don't even realize is benefiting them. And I'm excited to hear, the future, what sort of work you're doing. And we'll say that for maybe another call down the road to talk more in depth about regulatory issues and the current state of what's happening in Washington, D.C. and the industry. And we've got so many things coming up with one-to-one consent. So yeah, I think we'll save that for another call. But I really appreciate you joining me and sharing sort of your journey, and then also LinkUnite's journey to some extent recently, and how it's helping women in the industry. So yeah, any before we end, any final words?
No, but thank you so much. This was really fun. It's different than the normal webinars we get to do. So I really appreciate it.
I'm glad you entertained my questions of your path to where you are now, because I'm always intrigued and it's always interesting. And one thing I found for certain is that nobody has gotten to where they are based on some plan. You know what I mean? It's it's
Not in
about,
this industry.
yeah, not in this industry.
Maybe doctors. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. But I think it's about taking initiative and following your path and what you think is right, and continuing on what faces you at that moment and how to make that decision versus trying to look way too far off on where you kind of want to be, but following sort of that step by step direction of what's right in your life. And I think that gets you to a place where you are now, where you're extremely happy, I think, with what you're doing, and you feel not only happy with your quote unquote job, but also what you're doing in the world,
Yeah.
So I will leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, everybody that listened in as well. Obviously, this is recorded, so it will live here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So if you just caught the last 2 seconds, you can give it a second and watch it all the way back from the beginning as well. But please reach out to LinkUnite if you're interested in joining. Go to that page right there that I put in the comments so you can vote for a woman maybe in your organization or the industry that is making a difference. And thank you all for everything you guys do. Thanks, Gayla. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.